Unexpected genius. Homeless boy's amazing piano talent revealed to CEO, changing lives forever. Underneath the Ardsley Bridge in Philadelphia, the city pulsed with life, while 12-year-old Marcus sat on a scrap of cardboard, fingers trembling but poised above the worn keys of an old piano. Each evening, as the sun dipped beneath the skyline, the haunting notes he played spilled into the streets, a melody escaping his heart, echoing the struggles he and his younger sister, Mia, faced every day. Wrapped in layers of mismatched clothing, they called this haphazard shelter their home, surrounded by the noise of the bustling city that often overlooked their existence. And yet, within those four cardboard walls, Marcus carried a talent as brilliant as any star. Each time he played, a spark of beauty lifted the darkness of their lives, illuminating their hidden corner of the world. There were moments, fleeting seconds, when passerby would stop, eyes wide and brows furrowed, captivated by the sweet, sorrowful strains. Unbeknownst to them, his music told stories of hope, pain, and longing. One particular evening, as Marcus poured his heart out in a fervor, Ava, a determined CEO of a thriving tech company, stepped outside the community center where she was attending a gala. The music wrapped around her like a warm embrace, drawing her closer. She stood in awe, watching the boy lost in his art, a soulful expression etched across his face. Her heart fought against the comforts of her life, its steady rhythm disrupted by an overwhelming surge of emotion. The disparity was stark. She was draped in designer clothes while he sat in rags, yet she felt a connection, as if his notes stirred something deep inside her. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. As days turned into weeks, Ava's resolve strengthened. She envisioned bringing Marcus and Mia to perform at her company's gala, dreaming of not just showcasing Marcus's talent, but also raising awareness for the unseen struggles of homelessness in the city. Excitement mixed with apprehension flooded her veins. Fear gnawed at her, echoing her colleagues' whispers of doubts. They didn't understand why someone like Marcus should be on their stage. As the gala date approached, she wrestled with the double-edged sword of privilege. Her opportunity could be their salvation, or it could crucify their spirit. Meanwhile, Marcus felt the shadows pulling tighter as a violent encounter on the streets shattered his confidence. The raw fear swirling in his chest threatened to drown out even the music begging to be let out. He saw himself slipping into obscurity. Somewhere deep, he believed, he didn't belong in Ava's world, a world glittering while his was painted in shades of gray. As the night of the gala loomed, an electric possibility hung in the air, and Marcus's heart beat heavy with doubt. Surrounded by people in tuxedos, he stood behind the curtain, his sanctuary now a prison. As the audience murmured, waiting for the performance, he felt the pull, the call of his music, a voice that could ring out against the darkness of their combined struggles. Would he find the courage to step into the light, to let his symphony change not just his fate, but countless lives waiting to be witnessed? In that moment, as the stage lights flickered on and the audience's silence held its breath, Marcus took a shaky step forward, the weight of the world on his shoulders, ready to either rise like a phoenix or slip quietly away into the shadows. Marcus stood on that stage, heart racing like a wild horse. The dazzling lights felt like suns beaming down on him, bright and overwhelming. He could hardly see the faces staring back, just a sea of silhouettes waiting. A knot in his stomach tightened. Behind him, he could sense Mia fidgeting nervously, waiting for him to move. Her faith in him was unwavering, yet he felt so fragile. The moment stretched, every second loud like thunder, each heartbeat a reminder of what he was about to do. He could almost hear the city outside, the laughter, the chatter, the life he felt barred from. But as his fingertips brushed the keys of the old piano, a flicker of conviction ignited within him. This was not only for him, it was for Mia and for so many others like them who fought silent battles daily. Taking a deep breath, he settled into a familiar rhythm, letting the fears dissolve as the first notes poured out. They flowed effortlessly, carving through the air and filling the room with vibrant energy. The melody wrapped around the audience, weaving stories that were both personal and universal. Marcus closed his eyes, transported to a world where pain and struggles could be transformed into beauty. Mia's eyes sparkled with pride as she listened, feeling as though the entire room breathed in unison with her brother's music. Around her, the gala attendees began to lean in closer, captivated. Ava, standing at the back, felt her heart swell. The boys she discovered had become a vessel of hope, bringing light even in a crowd dressed in opulence. But as he reached a crescendo, a flicker of doubt swirled back in. What if they saw him as nothing more than a novelty, a brief escape from reality? The thought quaked through him, and for a moment he faltered, missing a note. Time froze, and Marcus panicked. He opened his eyes and saw Ava watching him, her expression a mix.
It struck him like a jolt. She was not here to judge, but to elevate. Beyond the gowns and tuxedos, there were people who cared. It was more than just a show. It was a moment to be seen. Channeling that realization, he dove back into the song with new fervor. Each note now had purpose. His fingers danced across the keys, telling a story of survival, dreams, and resilience. The music climbed higher, filling the room with a raw, palpable energy. Just as the song reached its pinnacle, an unexpected hush fell. A single voice broke through the silence. "Bravo!" It came from a young woman near the front. Encouraged, others joined in, the applause growing louder. Each clap resonated in Marcus's chest, igniting a fire he didn't know he possessed. As the final note lingered in the air, Marcus opened his eyes, looking not only at Ava, but at the audience that had embraced him. His heart felt as if it might burst. They weren't just clapping for a performance. They were acknowledging his journey, his existence. Amidst the cheers, Marcus locked eyes with Mia, who was beaming with joy. Relief washed over him. In that moment, he understood. There was power in vulnerability, and sharing his music had just opened a door to the life he dreamed of. But as he took a bow, he felt a tugging at his heart. The applause was only a beginning. What came next? As he stepped off the stage, the weight of his future felt just as heavy as before. What would Ava reveal about the plans she had for them after this? Could this one moment truly change everything? He could feel the world shifting beneath his feet, and a new journey beckoned just beyond the curtain. Would he be ready to embrace it? As Marcus stepped off the stage, the applause still ringing in his ears, a wave of emotions crashed over him. Joy mingled with uncertainty. What now? He had shared his heart, but would that be enough to change anything? The crowd began to disperse, laughter and chatter filling the air, but he found himself standing still, rooted to the ground. Mia rushed to his side, her eyes sparkling. "You were incredible, Marcus! Did you see how they reacted?" Her enthusiasm was contagious, yet a hint of lingering worry shadowed his face. "Yeah, but what if it was just a moment?" he confessed, his voice barely above a whisper. "What if they forget me tomorrow?" Mia shook her head, her confidence shined unwavering. "They can't forget you. You showed them something real. You were honest. That's rare." She looked toward the back of the room, where Ava stood, still clapping, an appreciative smile brightening her features. "Let's talk to Ava. Mia suggested, pulling him gently in the direction of the crowd. The closer they got, the more alive Marcus felt with hope. Ava had become a beacon during this journey, and whatever plans she had, he wanted to hear them. As they approached, Ava turned, her face glowing with pride. "You blew everyone away, Marcus! You have such a gift!" Her voice was warm and inviting. "Thanks, Ava. I just don't know what comes next," Marcus admitted, the vulnerability creeping in again. Ava's eyes sparkled with understanding. "There's more to this than just the performance. You have a story that needs to be shared, and I think we can turn this moment into something bigger." Marcus felt his heart skip a beat. "What do you mean?" "I've been in contact with a few organizations. They focus on youth empowerment through the arts," Ava explained, her excitement climbing. "We can create opportunities for you, maybe even set up workshops and performances. You could inspire others, just like you did tonight." Mia squeezed Marcus's hand, her smile wide in support. Yet doubt crept back like a dim cloud over him. "But what if I can't keep it up? What if I fail?" Ava stepped closer, her tone turning earnest. "Every artist has those thoughts, Marcus. It's a part of the journey. But remember how you made the audience feel tonight. You have something inside you that can't be silenced." A moment of silence enveloped them, and Marcus felt the weight of possibility pressing against him. "Can you help me?" he asked, his voice trembling with the gravity of his request. "Of course! I'll be with you every step of the way," Ava replied, her voice firm yet nurturing. The warmth in her words filled him with a sense of purpose. The fear was still there, but now it felt different, sharper, more manageable, like a signpost pointing the way through his uncertainty. As they continued talking about plans, the excitement grew in the small group, ideas flowing like a surge of new energy. Laughter and bright dreams carved a new path for him, but somewhere deep inside, a voice murmured unease. Was he ready for this? What if the pressure became too much? Suddenly, Mia pointed behind him. "Look, the gala attendees are still here. They want to talk to you." Marcus turned, and his heart raced again. Faces he hadn't really noticed began to approach, gratitude shining in their eyes. Each one wanted to share their reflections, their own struggles, and how his music had touched them. As he engaged with the growing crowd, the magnitude of the moment hit him. This was his chance to be a part of something bigger than himself, to create a ripple of hope, to reach others like him who felt unheard. But as he wondered how far this journey would take him, he couldn't shake the feeling that something even more profound awaited just around the corner. Was he ready to step forward into this new life? With adrenaline coursing through him and uncertainty tapping on his shoulder, he embraced the moment. What awaited him next? Would he have the strength to pursue this path, and what sacrifices lay ahead in his quest to use his music for good? Marcus's heart raced as he found himself in the midst of a whirlwind. Every face that approached him seemed both familiar and foreign, each story adding weight to his own. Stories of challenge, resilience, and hope. Their gratitude wrapped around him, warming the cold edges of his doubt. "Your song, it reminded me of my struggles," an older man said, his voice slightly shaky. "I've been through a lot, but hearing you made me believe I can still find my way." "Thank you for sharing yourself," a girl exclaimed, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "It felt like you were singing right to me." Every word struck a chord deep within him. He was a conduit for their experiences, and in that moment he realized that his music was more than just a melody. It was a lifeline. But just as the warmth of connection enveloped him, another thought surfaced, sharp and icy. What if they expected more from him now? What if he couldn't meet their hopes? "Mia," he murmured, grabbing her hand. "What if I can't keep this up? What if I'm just a one-hit wonder?" She looked at him seriously, her unwavering support clear in her gaze. "You're not alone in this. You have us, Ava, me, everyone here. And you have your voice. You just need to trust in it. The crowd continued to swell, and Ava stepped into their immediate space. "Marcus," she said, excitement shining through her sincere expression, "there's someone I want you to meet. He's a CEO of a company that supports young talent and gives them resources. He'd be perfect to talk to about your plans." Intrigued and nervous, Marcus nodded as Ava led him towards a tall man who seemed to command the room. He was broad-shouldered, with a kind smile that matched his casual but polished attire. "James, this is Marcus," Ava began. "He has a gift for music and a story that can inspire many." James extended his hand, his grip firm yet gentle. "I've heard a little about your performance tonight. I'm impressed by how you connected with the audience." "Thanks," Marcus managed, heat rising in his cheeks. I want to help others like me." "That's admirable," James replied, his gaze steady. "With the right support, you could take your voice far beyond this stage. We have resources, mentors, funding for workshops, anything you need to bring your vision to life." Suddenly, Marcus felt the weight of expectation growing heavier on his shoulders. "But what if I'm not as good as everyone thinks I am?" Panic edged into his voice. James smiled, his eyes filled with understanding. "Every journey starts with uncertainty, Marcus. In feeling that doubt, you show how human you are. The real question is, are you willing to take a step forward despite that fear?" Marcus looked around at the faces of those who had come to him for hope, and he felt a flicker of determination
ignite within him. This wasn't just about him anymore. It was about everyone who felt lost and alone. "I want to try," he said, grasping at the threads of courage swirling inside. As James nodded approvingly, a wave of relief surged through Marcus. The future began to transform in his mind's eye, not just as a racer in a hamster wheel of performance, but as a leader carving out possibilities for others. Yet, looming above all this hope was still that whisper, warning him of the storm ahead. How would he manage these new expectations? Would he find the strength needed when the struggles he faced deepened? With a newfound clarity and hope, he prepared to dive into this opportunity, knowing it wouldn't come without its challenges. But as he took a deep breath and steadied himself, he felt ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. What was waiting in the wings of this journey? And could he really change not only his own life, but the many lives woven into his story? Marcus felt a surge of adrenaline coursing through him as he took in the bustling atmosphere around him. The promise of new beginnings hung in the air, blending with the warmth of the crowd and the sounds of laughter and conversation. It felt like stepping onto a stage, but this performance was different. No music, just raw emotion and unfiltered potential. "Let's talk details," James said, leading Marcus toward a quieter corner of the venue, away from the throng of admirers. "What do you envision? Where do you see your music taking you?" Marcus hesitated. It was like staring out over an ocean he hadn't dared to swim in before. All the exhilarating possibilities dazzled him, but the deeper water filled him with dread. "I want to create a space, maybe a community center where kids can learn music, share their stories, a place where they don't feel alone." "That's ambitious," James said, nodding in appreciation. "But you know what? It's possible. We can connect you with mentors in music education, people who have built similar programs. It's not just about your music, it's about the impact you can make." Just then, a familiar voice broke through his thoughts. "Marcus!" Ava rushed over, her face alight with excitement. "You won't believe it! I heard James talking about a potential grant for youth programs. This could be your chance to expand that vision." His heart leaped. Was this too good to be true? A mixture of disbelief and hope washed over him, but alongside it came the old shadows of doubt. "But what if I can't pull it off? What if this is just a pipe dream?" "Hey," Ava placed a hand on his shoulder, grounding him. "Every big journey starts with a single step. You've already taken the hardest one, opening up to the world. You don't have to have all the answers right now, just take the next step." He looked into her eyes and saw the unwavering belief swirling in him. In them, strong, fierce, and unwavering.
It filled him with a sense of purpose he hadn't felt before. He nodded, feeling the weight of decision solidify in his chest. "Okay, let's explore this grant." James smiled, clearly impressed by Marcus's resolve. "Great, let's set a timeline and gather the resources you need. Together, we can build something amazing." As they plunged into planning, thoughts swirled in his mind like the notes of a melody forming just at the edges of consciousness. But there were knotted strings of anxiety too, disappointment of failure, the fear of being inadequate, and the palpable fear of expectation. Hours passed in a blur of brainstorming and ideas. The potential felt electrifying, yet each moment of excitement was underscored by that nagging voice asking, "What if you're not enough?" Finally, when the night wound down, the crowd began to disperse, leaving an echo of hope and anticipation. Marcus stepped outside, the crisp night air brushing against his skin like a refreshing promise. But as he breathed in deeply, he couldn't shake the feeling that a storm was building on the horizon. What if the expectations were too high? What if success felt so distant it slipped through his fingers? As he stared up at the star-speckled sky, he realized he was standing on the edge of something monumental. And in that moment, filled with equal parts fear and excitement, he understood. This journey might change not just his life, but the lives of countless others who needed a voice. Each step felt monumental, but was he brave enough to forge ahead into uncharted waters? Tomorrow's dawn brought with it the promise of change, but it also came with questions he felt unprepared to answer. Was he ready to step into his potential, or would the shadows of doubt pull him under? As he turned to head home, the path ahead remained cloaked in uncertainty. What awaited him beyond the horizon? Marcus woke up the next morning feeling the weight of possibility pressing against him like a heavy blanket. Sunlight streamed through his window, illuminating the messy pile of dreams he had jotted down the night before. Ideas for the community center, names of local mentors, and the whispered hope of change. The excitement of yesterday still buzzed in his veins, but it was running parallel to a slow trickle of anxiety. He shoved down the doubts, took a deep breath, and flipped to a fresh page in his notebook. "Today is the day," he muttered under his breath. It felt like a mini mantra as he scribbled, "Call James, research grant opportunities, reach out to local schools." Each task felt small, yet together they were the foundation of something bigger. As he moved through the motions of getting ready, a determined little flicker ignited in his chest. He daydreamed about kids filling a space filled with music, laughter, and stories, where they would be seen, heard, and valued. But the specter of failure loomed in the background, whispering doubts that were hard to silence. What if no one shows up? What if it all crumbles before it starts? But Ava's voice echoed in his mind, reminding him that even the grandest projects began with baby steps. He shook off his fears, grabbed his guitar, and headed out. Each note he played felt like an arrow, targeting that flicker of determination, nudging it into a flame. Marcus arrived at his usual spot in the park, where the echoes of children playing filled the air. With each chord he struck, curiosity drew a small crowd. Neighbors and passerby paused to listen, surprised by the melancholic beauty that spilled from the strings. He poured his heart into the music, feeling the weight of the world lift, if only for a moment. This was his passion. This was his language. However, just as a small group of kids began to gather, a shadow loomed behind him. "Marcus," a stern voice called out, cutting through the music. He turned to see Chief Sanders, the local community center director, walking toward him with purpose. "Hey, what's up?" Marcus said, forcing a casual tone despite the sudden knot in his stomach. "I heard some chatter about you wanting to start a community program," he said, crossing his arms as he surveyed Marcus's makeshift stage. "Community needs help, and they're looking at you. But are you even ready to take this on?" The words stung. Soft whispers of jealousy stirred inside him. "Yeah, I am. I mean, I want to be. I'm talking to people about a grant to get this going," he responded, hoping his words would convey both confidence and passion. Chief Sanders raised an eyebrow. "Just be careful. Expectations can sabotage good intentions, and I need to know you're in it for the long haul." "I am," Marcus declared, the heat rising in his chest, fueling his resolve. "I want to do this. I want to make a difference." A moment passed, punctuated by the sounds of children's laughter around them. "Okay," Sanders said slowly, uncrossing his arms. "If you're serious, then let's meet next week. Bring your plan. But remember, it's not just about you. You'll be affecting a lot of lives." His heart raced as he absorbed the weight of those final words. Yes, he could feel the magnitude of this undertaking settling in. Today could be the first step into a future he had only dared to dream about. As the sun set, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple, Marcus felt a surge of determination. But there was a lingering question curling around in his mind like ivy on a trellis. What if he couldn't live up to what they all expected of him? He opened his notebook again, determined to redirect those rumbling feelings. Each stroke of the pen transformed uncertainty into possibility. But just as quickly as he felt his confidence rising, another thought crept in. Who would show up when the moment of truth arrived? The shadow of doubt loomed large. Tomorrow wasn't just another day. It held the promise of clarity or the threat of disappointment. Would he be prepared to handle whatever it brought? Would he be able to rise to the challenge? The next morning felt different. Marcus woke up with a mix of nerves and anticipation swirling in his stomach. Today was big. He could feel it pulsing through him like a heartbeat. He glanced at his notes from the prior day, pages filled with hopes, dreams, and a fragile vision for the community center. The idea was more than just ambition now. It was a tangible possibility. He threw on a t-shirt and jeans, grabbing his guitar on the way out. The morning air was crisp, carrying with it the sounds of a waking neighborhood. As he walked, his thoughts danced from the meeting with Chief Sanders to the kids he hoped would fill the center someday. Each step echoed a silent wish that this was only the beginning. At the corner cafe, Marcus met up with James. His friend was already sipping coffee, his face a mix of excitement and concern. "You ready for this?" James asked, his brow raised slightly. Marcus nodded, though the emotion caught in his throat. "I think so. I mean, I have my ideas, but what if they're not enough?" "You've got passion, man. That counts for something," James replied, his voice steady. "And you're not alone. You have people who believe in you." Those words wrapped around Marcus like a warm blanket. They gave him the courage that had been wavering moments ago. They settled into a booth, and as they talked, Marcus sketched his ideas for the community center on a napkin. Elements of art, music, mentorship. He outlined a calendar of events, programs meant to ignite curiosity and support. "You really think this could work?" James asked, leaning closer to inspect the sketch. "I have to believe it can," Marcus answered. "Otherwise, what's the point?" After finishing their coffee, Marcus felt charged. They walked back to the park where he often played. The sun was higher now, brightening the area with a sense of promise. Children's laughter echoed in the distance, and Marcus thought of how those sounds could be amplified in the center he dreamed of creating. He started to play, the guitar notes floating out like ripples on water. People gathered, drawn in by the familiar rhythm. Kids danced, oblivious to any uncertainty, just pure joy in the moment. Marcus poured everything he had into his music. It was more than just a performance. It felt like a declaration. Just as he finished the last chords, a familiar face appeared. Ella, the girl from the neighborhood who often helped her little brother. She had curiosity sparkling in her eyes. "Are you really going to do it?" she asked, breathless from dancing. "I hope so," he replied, smiling down at her. "What do you think I should include in the center?" Her face lit up. "A game room and art classes. And can you teach guitar?" Her enthusiasm sparked something within him. He began talking with her, other kids joining in, all sharing ideas. Each suggestion felt like a brick laid down for a solid foundation. But before he could get lost in their voices, a heavy-set man stepped forward from the crowd, arms crossed. Marcus recognized him immediately as Mr. Jennings, a former mentor who ran a popular event back in the day. "You've got a good thing starting here, kid," he said gruffly. "Just make sure you really want this. Kids need consistency, not another flash in the pan." Marcus's heart raced as Mr. Jennings's gaze bore into him. The man's intensity pulled him taut between pride and fear. "I get that," he replied, trying to sound more confident than he felt. "I'm all in. This means everything to me." The man nodded, a flicker of respect crossing his face. But that didn't erase the weight of the challenge ahead. As the crowd began to disperse, Marcus felt a strange mix of excitement and anxiety flood through him again. Could he truly handle the responsibility? He had to come up with a plan for the meeting, one that would make people believe in his vision and in him. But one's belief could only stretch so far before he had to prove it with results. So as the sun dipped low, Marcus returned home, and for the first time in a while, he felt the stirrings of hope battling the doubts within him. Tomorrow would bring the first real test, and he couldn't shake the feeling that it might be more than just a meeting. It felt like a pivot point for everything. What if, when he presented his ideas, something unexpected happened? What if those dreams he carefully crafted began to take form right before his eyes? The morning dawned with a sense of urgency. Marcus felt it in his bones as he sat at his kitchen table, the aroma of coffee reminding him that today was pivotal. He glanced at the clock, his heart racing. Each tick felt louder, each second dragging as the thoughts tumbled in his mind. Would the community leaders embrace his vision? Would they see the potential that he saw, or would they dismiss it all as just a pipe dream? As he gathered his notes, the sketches of ideas he'd excitedly scribbled on napkin after napkin scattered across the table. Each drawing carried a weight of hope. Art rooms filled with laughter, music wafting through the air, and kids' faces lighting up with possibility. The thought of failure crept in. What if nobody cared? What if he was just fooling himself? Marcus took a deep breath, steadying his resolve. He shuffled the papers and grabbed his guitar as he headed for the door. Outside, the world pulsed with a routine that was both welcoming and demanding. Children laughed and played in the street, their carefree spirits contrasting sharply with the anxiety twisting in his stomach. He arrived at the community center, a modest building that had seen better days but held so much potential. As he stepped inside, the air felt thick with anticipation, like waiting for the first note of a song. The conference room was buzzing with chatter as people began to file in. Marcus took a place at the front, his eyes scanning the familiar faces. Chief Sanders strode in with his usual confidence, his presence commanding attention. "Thank you all for coming," he began, his voice booming across the room. "Today, we have someone special who wants to speak about bringing something new to our community." Marcus felt the weight of anticipation press down on him. He was that special someone. It was time. As he stood up, a wave of adrenaline washed over him. "Hello, everyone. My name is Marcus," he started, his voice stronger than he felt. "What I'd like to share with you today is more than just a vision. It's about our future and what we can build together." He began to unfold his ideas, moments where kids could express themselves, learn, grow, and find a safe haven. As he spoke, the room fell quiet, every ear tuned in to every word. Faces began to shift in response, some nodding along, others deep in thought. Then, just as he felt the momentum rise, a voice cut through the reverie. "But what makes you think you can actually do this?" It was Mr. Jennings, his skepticism casting shadows over Marcus's hope. Eyes shifted uneasily around the room. "I know it won't be easy," Marcus replied, swallowing hard, "but I believe in this community. I believe in our kids. They deserve more than just a place to hang out.
They deserve a place that nurtures their talents and dreams. I can't do it alone, but together we can make a difference." The sincerity in his voice seemed to hang in the air, offering a moment of silence before things began to shift. A hand went up from a woman in the back, someone Marcus recognized but couldn't place. "What about mentorship? We need guidance for these kids to thrive," she said. And suddenly other voices chimed in, discussing ideas, sharing thoughts. Encouraged, Marcus leaned into the energy. He shared anecdotes about the children he'd met, their hopes, their laughter. Slowly, the skepticism began to ebb away, replaced by interest. The room grew alive, dynamic. But just as they were gaining steam, the door swung open with swift force. A cold gust swept through, and in walked a new figure, an unexpected face who seemed to draw attention like a magnet. Marcus's heart skipped. It was a well-dressed man, clearly out of place, yet undeniably captivating. "Sorry I'm late," he said, flashing a charismatic smile. "Heard there was a revolution happening in here?" Everyone turned, curiosity piqued. Marcus froze momentarily. The moment had intensified, the atmosphere pregnant with possibility. Who was this man? What could he bring to the table? As Marcus locked eyes with him, uncertainty flared again. Was this a setback, or could this stranger offer something that would elevate his dream even further? Tomorrow promised to unravel secrets and possibilities he could hardly fathom, where hopes might collide with reality in unexpected ways. What if this newcomer held the key to unlocking everything he ever wanted? Marcus hesitated, feeling a knot form at the base of his stomach. The man's entrance had shifted the energy of the room entirely. The casual conversations abruptly ceased, replaced by a wave of curiosity and speculation. This feeling, this unpredictability, was something he had hoped to avoid today. The man, with his sharp suit and confident demeanor, glanced around the room, absorbing the scene like a seasoned performer. There was a palpable tension mingling with the excitement, a kind of electricity that came with new possibilities. "I'm Kyle," he announced, his voice smooth and inviting. "I couldn't resist joining a conversation about the future of our community." Marcus felt the eyes of the room flit between him and Kyle. A part of him fretted that Kyle's presence could overshadow his own. Would he become just another voice among the many, or worse, the reason everyone lost interest in the heart of his presentation? "Marcus was just sharing his ideas on our community center," Chief Sanders interjected, steering attention back to him. There was a hint of support in his tone, as if encouraging Marcus to reclaim the strands of the moment. Taking a steadying breath, Marcus pointed a finger at Kyle. "Glad you're here, Kyle. Would you mind sharing how you think you could help?" Kyle chuckled lightly, a sound that somehow felt both warm and disarming. "Sure thing. I have some experience in community outreach and fundraising. Perhaps I can connect you with resources and networks that could bring this vision to life." As he spoke, Marcus searched for sincerity behind Kyle's cheerful facade. Had he arrived purely to help, or was he manipulating the scenario to his advantage? His heart whirled with questions, each one compounding his anxiety and the weight of his dream. But there it was again, the spark of hope. If Kyle truly meant what he said, it could breathe fresh life into all they were trying to achieve. "I'd like to hear more about what you have in mind," Marcus said tentatively, deciding to embrace the unknown rather than shy away. "What do you think we need to get started?" Kyle leaned in, a glint of excitement in his eyes. "First, we need to create a buzz, attract the community's interest. Imagine hosting an event, a talent show or art fair, something that showcases our kids' potential. This isn't just about ideas, it's about action. Nothing captures attention quite like a talent showcase." The thought lit a fire inside Marcus. That could work. It gives the kids a platform to show what they can do. We draw in families and local businesses. It shows what we have to offer. The words flowed from him, spilling forth as curiosity blossomed within the room.
Voices chimed in with enthusiasm, some already brainstorming what types of talents could be featured, how they could engage the youth, and who might be interested in participating. For a fleeting moment, excitement overshadowed Marcus's worries about this new man. An unanticipated conversation took shape, buzzing and sparking like fireflies around them. Yet, inside, unease still simmered. There was something Kyle possessed that felt too smooth, too polished. What did he truly want? Just as he was about to dive deeper into the discussion, a woman's voice cracked through his thoughts. What if we included some mentorship programs alongside the event? Show the kids there's a path for them beyond this community. More ideas erupted, pushing Marcus's initial plan into previously uncharted territory. They were gaining momentum, and he could feel hope tethering their hearts together. But it was Kyle's smile that felt different, too keen, almost predatory in its brightness. As everyone continued to brainstorm, Marcus couldn't shake the sensation that there was an underlying current behind this man's charm. Was he here to genuinely uplift the community, or was there something bigger at play? With every idea proposed, Marcus felt the stakes rise higher. That luring applause echoed in his heart, yet murmurs of doubt lingered in the shadows. The longer Kyle stayed, the more he realized he was an unpredictable element, a wild card that could unravel everything or uplift it beyond his wildest dreams. Tonight's event was exploding into something new, but tomorrow beckoned with more than just excitement. It promised challenges, revelations, and maybe, just maybe, a revelation that would change everything. As Marcus glanced back at Kyle, whose gaze was unwavering and full of secrets, an unsettling thought crossed his mind. What if unlocking one dream meant closing the door on another? What would he have to sacrifice to turn this vision into reality? The following morning, Marcus woke to a brilliant sun spilling across the floorboards of his tiny room. Today felt monumental. It crackled with energy and endless possibility. His heart pounded as he glanced at the scribbled notes from the meeting with Chief Sanders and Kyle. The ideas flowed like a river, overflowing with hope and anticipation. After a hurried breakfast, he grabbed his guitar and stepped into the warmth of the day. The air smelt sweet, filled with the mix of blooming flowers and freshly cut grass. As he moved toward the community center, Marcus spotted a small throng of children playing in the park. Their laughter rang like music, effortlessly brightening the dull corners of his heart. "Marcus, are we still doing that talent show?" Ella ran up to him, her enthusiasm contagious. "Yes, of course," he replied, his excitement growing. "I've been thinking about it all night. We'll get everyone involved." They quickly gathered a group of friends, each bursting with ideas, sharing hopes and wild plans. Laughter echoed around them as they envisioned the most amazing talent show, encouraging each other to dream bigger. It wasn't just Marcus's dream anymore. It was theirs, too. The community was responding, and the energy felt electric, sparking within everyone who participated. As Marcus strummed a few chords on his guitar, he felt each note connect them. This moment was magic. His music washed over them all, pulling their hopes together into something real. Even though doubt still etched lightly in his mind, it was becoming easier to shove it aside. They were building something not just for themselves, but for the entire community. Later that afternoon, he met with Ava to discuss the talent show. As they sat in her sleek office, she was all focus, honoring the seriousness of the task ahead while brainstorming new ideas. "I have connections to some great sponsors who might want to help with the event," Ava said, raising her eyebrow playfully. "Maybe we can even get some local celebrities involved to draw crowds." "Really?" Marcus could barely contain his excitement. "That would be amazing. Do you think they would actually come?" "Why not? If they see the impact we're aiming for, they'll want to be part of this incredible change," she assured him, her smile radiating encouragement. They continued brainstorming specifics, Marcus sketching out plans and highlighting the young talent from the neighborhood. In the back of his mind, he wondered how Kyle fit into all this swirling energy. Was he genuinely invested, or was he searching for something he could exploit?
As Ava rattled off potential names for the event, Marcus's phone buzzed. It was a message from James. "So, how's the preparation going? You're gonna knock it out of the park." He couldn't help but smile. They were building something that felt bigger than any of them, and the kids' excitement fueled his vision. Their dreams were now intertwined with his. When they finally finished, Ava clapped her hands together. "So, how about we gather everyone for a big meeting? We can share the plan, get their ideas, and encourage everyone to take ownership of the event." "Perfect! We could make it fun, a mini chaos of creativity," Marcus chuckled. As they began to gather the community for the meeting, he felt his heart swell. When the day arrived, the energy pulsed thicker than it had ever been. Voices blended into a beautiful hum as they filled the community center. Kids, parents, and even some eager faces from nearby neighborhoods. Marcus stood at the front, feeling the collective anticipation wrap around him. He shared his vision for the talent show, feeding off the crowd's energy. As he spoke, it was no longer just his dream. It belonged to everyone in that room. Excitement crackled like static, and their collective heartbeat felt unified. Then he pointedly glanced at Kyle. The man had come along but sat back with an inscrutable expression. Was he planning to swoop in and steal the spotlight again? Every moment felt like a test of resolve. "Let's learn from each other. Share your ideas. What talents do we want?"
So, salmon does have iron in it, but it's not a lot. There's better sources of iron. The room ignited with suggestions. Kids jumped to their feet, shouting out ideas, magic tricks, dance routines, art displays. It cascaded into a flood of creativity that Marcus's spirit soared. They were collaborating, involving every single person in crafting this event. Even the adults, who were often indifferent, began to contribute with energy and passion. But Kyle suddenly stood up, his expression shifting from disengaged to something more intense. "And don't forget, sponsorship will help elevate this event." He smiled broadly. "Think about who you want to invite." The room quieted for a heartbeat. His presence loomed like a dark cloud. Whispers drifted as uncertainty settled in. "You think this is just for show?" Marcus asked, clenching his fists. "This is about us sharing our stories." Yes, but also reaching out, getting noticed," Kyle rebutted confidently. "People want to see tangible proof. If we don't leverage this opportunity, we miss out." Glimpses of doubt flitted across the faces of kids and parents alike. Marcus felt a pang in his heart. "But we want authenticity, not just something that gets us likes." His voice rose as goodwill drowned in uncertainty. "If we show the world who we truly are, that's how we'll create real change." "True, but isn't that balance important?" Kyle challenged, piercing Marcus's gaze. The tension hung in the air, an echo of uncertainty wrapping everyone tightly. But before the moment could shatter completely, Mia jumped forward, her expression fierce. "We need to believe in what we are showing. That's real strength." She turned to the crowd. "Marcus is right. This is our chance to show them our hearts, our stories." The room erupted in applause, and a rush of unity surged through Marcus. Mia's words had reignited their purpose. "Let's not just put on a show," he said firmly. "Let's change the narrative. Let's show what this community can do." As the crowd cheered, Kyle sat back, his expression harder to read. Marcus wondered if the moment would turn in their favor, or if doubt would slink back among them once more. It was then that they realized. This talent show wasn't just a display. It was a platform for voice, strength, and unity. And that would bridge the gap, showing everyone that their stories mattered. As plans started to solidify, Marcus felt a renewed surge of hope swell within him. They could face anything together, cultivating courage that sparked endless possibilities. In this moment, he reclaimed his vision. Tomorrow brought the reality of the talent show. He could almost see it in his mind's eye, the laughter, the applause, the connections. But tonight, he would reflect on how much had changed.
Would they stand firm against challenges? Would each face shine through, no matter the rain clouds? It was all within reach, yet it still felt like a dangerous precipice. As the meeting wound down and people trickled out, he caught Kyle's gaze lingering. The man had 100 faces. He was a stepping stone or a stumbling block. And under those layers of ambition, would they find the greater good? For Marcus, the journey had just begun, and with each step forward came the weight of expectation, the chance to rise or fall. Tomorrow meant everything, and he felt ready to embrace whatever storms would come. Would the world accept their music, their truth? They were about to find out.